In 2021, the Department of Justice brought charges against a Florida man for allegedly waging a voter suppression campaign in 2016 on Twitter and other social platforms that the government says was an attempt to deprive people of the right to vote. The DOJ released a statement about Doug Mackey's arrest back in 2021 that said, with Mackey's arrest, we serve notice that those who would subvert the democratic process in this manner cannot rely on the cloak of internet anonymity to evade responsibility for their crimes.
This week, Mackey's attorney, James Lawrence, went on the Tucker Carlson show in defense of his client and denouncing the government for what he contends is an attempt to criminalize political satire. Here's a little of that exchange.
We believe that this prosecution represents a significant escalation of the government's regulation of speech under the banner of policing so-called disinformation. And Tucker, really, you were one of the first public figures and one of the most prominent people to criticize Twitter for deplatforming people over so-called disinformation. But I don't think even you would have thought that someone would face a federal prosecution or potential jail time over alleged memes. Now, here's what's at issue. The government says that this case is about voting rights, but as we've argued, the government has not alleged that a single person didn't vote as a result of the alleged memes. So we think that this case goes to the core of the First Amendment, and really, regardless of what you think about the content at issue, everyone in this country, Tucker, left, right, center, and every political persuasion in between should be concerned about what's happening in this case.
So what's going on here is this person made a meme that said you can skip the line and vote for Hillary if you text this number, and they're being prosecuted for voter misinformation, election crimes.
Yeah, insane. Insane. And again here, the causal arrow, it's important to pay attention to. The attorney there is saying, we were all annoyed when we found out that Twitter was taking down tweets of that nature, but now we know from the Twitter files that, don't get mad at Twitter about it, Twitter was receiving constant emails from the FBI saying this must be taken down, it violates election law, do something about this now, or you're responsible for the end of democracy as we know it. Well, don't get mad at Twitter about this, get mad at the FBI, who are the ones bringing charges.
And that's the thing, this is an escalation. The FBI, who many liberals apparently think is the hero, perhaps for these kinds of reasons, the hero of democracy. Sheesh. The FBI, which has been so wonderful and kind to the left, is prosecuting a person for a meme. And in the Tucker Carlson clip, a part we didn't play, they make the point that the joke is on Hillary voters being stupid enough to believe this, not the idea that you're trying to induce them to actually do it. It's like if I do a meme that says, hey, Trump voters, you can vote by, just clicking this form online or like retweet this and it'll register your vote. Right. Does anyone believe I actually think that I'm trying to do election interference, or am I joking about my perceived credibility of a Trump voter, hypothetically? No. Yeah. This is very Minority Report vibes. It's predicting into the future based on no evidence that anybody's voting behavior was affected in the least. Some kind of criminal liability. And it's very disturbing, a step beyond taking down posts. This is actually trying to potentially jail or fine somebody for memeing.
It's infuriating to me that a single second of some public employee's time is spent hunting down memes and jokes on Twitter, bugging Twitter about it, and then prosecuting people who do it. This is how federal resources are being spent. We have a law enforcement apparatus that wastes its time and your money hunting down people for telling jokes. Clearly, by the way, First Amendment protected jokes. I think there's no real debate here. I think we can all imagine what the Supreme Court is going to say 9-0 to this one if it ever got to that. This is absolutely First Amendment protected activity, but the idea that the government would think it's a good use of time.
Well, also, even if ultimately...
That we're protecting elections, but that the integrity of the election means not letting people joke about this stuff.
I mean, ultimately, even if you... if this case goes nowhere and, the defendant bests these claims, the chilling effect of the FBI using its powers and its resources to catch a civilian up in litigation like this for potentially years is the problem in and of itself.
Yes.
To wield the power of the state for these kind of coercive effects. This is a warning call that's gone out that says, be careful what you meme. And for anyone who is like, well, I don't care, this person, we don't actually know what their political orientation is. You know, the fact that they're in Florida leads people to think this is a conservative. But I look at this meme and I think that's easily a meme that leftists could have been tweeting about in 2016. I mean, easily. A lot of people didn't like Hillary Clinton in 2016. So if you think that this doesn't affect you because this isn't your political cohort, that's mistaken.
Yeah, very, very foolish. Just wild that they're wasting their time on this, and that they can think that this is a good thing to do.
Yeah, and I will say this is another one of those instances where, again, I don't know who made the choice to pursue this persecution, but it really is the liberals setting themselves up once again for being characterized as being anti-speech, anti-freedom, pro-censorship. I mean, we are
and
living...
humorless, right?
And humorless, but we're living at a time where there are literally over 150 anti-trans laws that have been promulgated in just the first month of this year. We're living at a time when there have been book bans all across the country, and where the AP College African American History course has excluded a number of very normie, inoffensive authors like Alice Walker, whose books are the subject of major motion pictures, Oscar-nominated, classics in American, oeuvre. And somehow Dems can manage to fumble the ball and let the attention get diverted back over to stuff like this because it's legitimately a real problem. And it seems like both sides are doing it situation now, when I think a lot of legislation is very meaningful and isn't being substantively paid attention to because, look at these other fights or culture war fights or whatever it is going on over here. And this is a legitimate concern. This isn't just some culture war fight. This is literally an FBI prosecution.
Yeah, I think it shows you how hollow both sides, both parties' commitments to free speech really are, that when in power in whatever municipality they control, right now it's aspects of the federal government controlled by Biden-type people, and then you have, I think, some legitimate complaints with policies being enacted by Republicans in various states and by the local level. Just shows you that both parties are very eager to use law enforcement resources at their disposal to punish people for saying things they don't like or expressing ideas or learning about ideas they don't like, and take a very narrow and selective view of what violates the First Amendment. And it's a tale as old as time, but their resources are getting more vast as these bureaucracies get more complicated.
We'll file this under point for defund the FBI, Robby.
Yeah, defund it. Bring it down.
Much to the chagrin of many people on both the right and the left, I stand firm in that commitment that on this narrow issue, Marjorie Taylor Greene had half a good idea.
They're going to come after you for saying that.
I know. I'll keep saying it, though. More Rising right after this.